As we continue to read about King Hezekiah's life, we see that his life is one that we can look to as a great example of faithfulness. But as we look to David's life of faithfulness, we see that he's not perfect either. Talking about Hezekiah, experienced a terminal illness, but miraculously, the Lord extended his life 15 years, and it was truly a gift of grace to King Hezekiah. Well, the king of Babylon had heard that King Hezekiah was sick and that he was recovering. He sent a gift. And so I want to read to you how that went there in 2 Kings chapter 20. 2 Kings 20, verse 12 through 19. At that time, Merodach-Baladan, son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a gift to Hezekiah, since he heard that he had been sick. Hezekiah listened to the letters and showed the envoys his whole treasure house, the silver, the gold, the spices, the precious oil, and his armory, and everything that was found in the treasuries. There was nothing in the palace and in all the realm that Hezekiah did not show them. Then the prophet Isaiah came to King Hezekiah and asked him, "Where did these men come from? And what did they say to you?" And Hezekiah replied, "They came from a distant country, from Babylon." Isaiah asked, "What have they seen in your palace?" And Hezekiah answered, "They have seen everything in my palace. There isn't anything in my treasuries that I didn't show them." Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, "Hear the word of the Lord. Look, the days are coming when everything in your palace and all of your predecessors have stored up until today will be carried off to Babylon. Nothing will be left, says the Lord. Some of your descendants who come from you, from whom you father, will be taken away, and they will become eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon." Then Hezekiah said to Isaiah, "The word of the Lord that you have spoken is good." For he thought, why not, if there will be peace and security during my lifetime? Here we see where the envoy came from Babylon, and Hezekiah showed him everything. And we look at that and say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, it was from the standpoint of Hezekiah saying, look at what all I've done. It was pride. Look at what I've done. And what was going to happen because of this? Well, everything would be carried off. Some of his descendants would end up becoming eunuchs. But it would not happen during Hezekiah's lifetime. And Hezekiah said there in 2 Kings 20 and verse 19, well, this is a good word of the Lord, because he thought, well, it won't happen during my lifetime. I'll have peace and security, so it's not my problem. You know, oftentimes we could treat life like that. Well, that's not my problem, you know. And we need to think more about the future and make eternal investments and prepare people for the future, and not just say, well, you know what, that's not my problem. And let's help others and prepare them to walk with the Lord.